Hello and welcome everyone to a very different video on my channel. This is my first Percy Jackson video. Ironically, it is also a crossover with Harry Potter, though as I didn't like the crossovers I have read so far, because most of the time they change a character to be a wizard or one of the Harry Potter characters to be a demigod. In this fanfic, they will all stay their respective fandoms, however, the Percy Jackson characters travel to Hogwarts. Woo! This is a first experiment. The Percy Jackson fandom has me in a chokehold ever since The Sun and the Star, and now that the show came out, I'm so hyperfixated on it, I had to write fanfic for it. So yeah, if this goes well, we will get the next parts of this series soon, and I also plan a Sol Angelo fanfic that you have probably already seen in the community post if you voted for it. I hope you all like this. It is a bit of an experiment, but we'll see how it goes. So I hope you enjoy. Let's go. Percy? She groaned. Her head felt like it was about to explode. For a moment she wondered if they had simply been up too long yesterday, trying to force as much knowledge for the new school year into their brain in advance as possible, but suddenly there were flashes of imagery, memories that were not her own, and she felt it. At once, she knew something was wrong. Annabeth tried thinking back to the last thing she remembered clearly, but the new, false memories were in the way. She tried to examine them, but they made little sense. They felt like a fever dream, and trying to sort them made the headache worse. Don't overdo it, child of Athena. It'll become clear given time. She jumped up, ignoring how her world began to spin, and reached for a dragon sword. Relief overcame her as she found it to her right. That won't be necessary. The stormy grey eyes focused on the woman before her, a goddess, no doubt. Through her confusion, a memory surfaced. It was blurred by exhaustion and pain that coined it at the time, but she did remember seeing the goddess briefly after leaving Tartarus and regaining consciousness. Hecate. A smile played on her lips, though it felt almost mocking. Annabeth Chase, daughter of Athena. How nice to officially meet you and your friends. We didn't have the chance for introductions the last time. Annabeth gritted her teeth, but her vision had finally cleared enough to take in her surroundings. Percy lay next to her, still unconscious. She felt better knowing him close by, but her heart still clenched as he recognized Jason, Piper, Hazel, Frank, Nico, Will, Leo, and Raina in similar conditions. What do you want from us? She knew it was smartest to keep a cool head, but right now she was mad. Anger boiled up inside her like burning magma had replaced her blood. They had just been about to start university. Everything had been peaceful for once, and now the gods meddled with their lives once more. Easy, daughter of wisdom. There was a curious sparkle in the goddess' eyes Annabeth couldn't quite place. I don't feel like repeating myself twice, so let's wait for the others to awake. Unless, of course, you wish for me to treat you like the others of my family would and give you little to no guidance. At the barely disguised threat, Annabeth narrowed her eyes but lowered her sword. She took a deep breath and tried once more to understand all the information she was given. It made her head feel like it was split in two. Patience doesn't come easy to Athenian kids, does it? You gave me these memories, or whatever they are, didn't you? So, should I not make use of them? The goddess sighed. She didn't comment on it further, and Annabeth wasn't sure what to make of that. However, upon trying her best to decipher the memories, she found that it was mostly futile and painful. At the fourth attempt, she moved on to inspecting the room they were in further, trying not to interpret the goddess' expression as smug. Starting a fight with the one that currently held all the knowledge and therefore all the power over their situation wasn't wise. In that sense, she was glad to have awoken before Percy. The room was odd. It was made from wood, but not in a way that made sense structurally. In fact, it almost seemed like it shifted from time to time. Hecate was the goddess of magic and the mist, so this could very well be an illusion, she reminded herself. It was frustrating. Anything that messed with her senses and mind was something Annabeth learned to hate rather quickly. Her mind was often, especially when she was on her own, the only thing she could rely on. Across the room she saw Piper stirring, and although she would have preferred staying close to Percy, she quickly rushed over to aid her. Ouch. What? Piper squeezed her eyes shut and held her head in pain, undoubtedly experiencing the same headache Annabeth had. What happened? Are we not... Where's the camp? Divine intervention. Annabeth answered darkly, throwing another glance at Hecate. She said she would explain everything once everyone was awake. Can you make sure they stay calm when they wake up? Especially Leo. It at least seems like this room is made of wood, so it would be best if he didn't get startled into burning it down. Piper blinked confused, but her eyes focused quickly and filled with determination. Annabeth and she had become a strong team after the quest that led them to the ancient lands. She trusted her and vice versa. They moved around the room carefully as their friends began to wake, always having an eye on the goddess. Annabeth attended to Will next. She was more than grateful that the son of Apollo woke before Nico. She was pretty certain that the son of Hades wouldn't take too kindly to seeing his boyfriend passed out. From the corner of her eye, she watched Piper coaxing Jason awake with her charm speak before rushing over to Leo as he stirred, as Annabeth had instructed her. Nico! As soon as Will saw Nico unconscious beside him, he rushed to his side, giving Annabeth no time to explain. He hurried to check him for any injuries and immediately fell into his role as a healer. Don't worry, son of Apollo, he's not injured. His head snapped around, and so did Jason's, Leo's, Hazel's, and Raina's. Those who just woke up only noticed the goddess now and froze. So you got us here, didn't you? Annabeth turned around, relieved to see Percy fighting himself up from the ground. She quickly rushed over to him, noticing on the side how Hazel helped Frank to his feet, where Will still fussed over Nico, who slowly awoke as well. A heads up would have been nice. Annabeth scanned the room once more to make sure before turning to the goddess again. We are all awake now. So tell us, why are we here? Hecate narrowed her eyes slightly but proceeded. So impatient. Well, it just so happens that I have a quest for you, young demigods. One that requires me to take you away for a bit. What happened to a quest of 3 people? Leo was visibly agitated and annoyed. He rubbed his temple and yawned. This quest demands the attendance of all of you. A group of demigods large enough to appear as representatives. Representatives for what? Is there a prophecy demanding our involvement? There is. Something like an iris message appeared in the middle of the room. Annabeth recognized Rachel Dare from Camp Half-Blood as she began reciting a prophecy. In Twilight's realm where shadows weave, demigods entwine, destiny is conceived. A child of shadows by night embraced, in Hogwarts mystery, challenges faced. To witness not conquer the tournament's grace, obscured paths align in this enigmatic space, bridging realms unseen, untied yet torn, secrets and magic, cryptic truths sworn. Through trial shrouded, their quest concealed, in shadows profound, destinies revealed. It was silent for a long moment as they all took in what they had heard. What's a Hogwarts? It's a school, one that you will be attending under the guise of partaking in the Triwizard Tournament. The what? Annabeth didn't like where this was going at all, but at least the goddess was still willing to answer their questions. They had to use this time wisely. Before Hecate could answer Will, she intervened. Can you please just tell us all we need to know from the beginning? Very well, Athena child. It just so happens that my realm was threatened by a dark force rising again. That is, the realm of wizards and witches. They have whole societies that go largely unknown, similar to the demigod camps. However, similar to the humans, they have no idea of the reality of this world beyond their experience. So don't go around showing off your godly status. When using your powers, pretend to use these. She presented them with various long sticks of wood, earning confused looks all around. Sticks. They are wands. It's how my followers, although they are not aware that's what they are, channel their magic. They won't work for you, but you'll have to pretend they do. Perhaps you will even be able to conjure up some minor things through the blessing I gave you, but that's it. Wandless magic is a thing, but it's rare, so don't get caught using your powers without the wands too much. They each took a wand hesitantly. Annabeth eyed hers skeptically. Whatever this was, she didn't like it. Pretend to whom? The other students of Hogwarts and their guests, as will you be. Why? What is this all for? Haven't you listened to the prophecy? You ought to bear witness. You will go to the school as representatives of Ilvermorny, an American wizarding school. It is arranged for you to stay at the castle and partake in the Triwizard Tournament that will be held this year, all during which your only task is to observe and make friends. Doesn't sound too hard, does it? Where's the catch? It is never that easy with quests and gods. No catch. This is all I ask of you. What you make of the information you gather is up for you to decide. I can't make that decision for you. That sounded frustratingly vague and suspiciously ominous. How are we supposed to fit in as witches and wizards, presumably acting as though we have been attending this school for years, when this is the first time we hear about the existence of this realm? Don't worry too much. The wizarding communities do not have the best communication among each other. Coming from America will be a good cover for your differences. But to be sure, I gave you some information as memories. They are sealed as of now. Your brains would not have been able to bear it had I given you them all at once. They'll be unsealed as you go, like a forgotten memory that is triggered by a picture. You have a week to prepare. Here is some of the local currency, though I prepared everything you need already. As soon as you leave this room, it will normalize, and you will find yourself in the Legal Cauldron, a wizarding inn in London. You will stay here until your departure to Hogwarts from the King's Cross station, platform 9 3/4. Just ask around if you don't know directions. She got up and Annabeth realized with horror that she intended to leave. Wait. There's a library in the Diagon Alley. I'd advise you to read up on some things before going to Hogwarts. Whatever questions you have can be answered there. You can't just throw us... She was gone. Annabeth let out a string of curses in ancient Greece. Okay, so... is anyone as confused as I am? Frank lifted his hand slightly, and Hazel next to him threw a worried glance at her brother. Nico's gaze had darkened. Let's remain calm and gather what we know first. Oh yeah, because that's so easy when you're suddenly torn out of your life and thrown into a completely new world. I thought finding out about the gods was crazy, and now magic. My mom was a witch, so it's not completely new, but I didn't know they had whole societies and schools. Annabeth took a deep breath to calm down. Her friends began to bicker among themselves about the sheer absurdity of this. Alright, I'm with Raina. Let's gather what we know and make a plan. Okay, so this is a quest, and the goddess of magic kidnapped us to fulfill it. At least we kept our memories this time. Oh yeah, tell me about it. The prophecy's as cryptic as always, but it sounds like Hecate told us more or less the truth. We have to bear witness. To what though? 'Cause if this world's magic, I'm not thrilled to find out what else they have here. It mentioned a tournament, and if I gathered this correctly, it will be held at this Hogwarts school. Which is the school for witchcraft. This is giving me a headache. That's in your memories. We apparently have to unlock. Still better than if our skulls exploded. Annabeth groaned. She hated being left in the dark, and they were operating with minimal information here. Percy noticed her uneasiness and quickly put an arm around her to soothe and ground her. Let's not focus on that just yet. Important is what we have to do next. Jace nodded in agreement and crossed his arms over his chest. Escaping this isn't an option, so we might as well face it. We can work the details out later. Let's just make sure we are safe and settled for now. Annabeth had already thought about how best to proceed, but it was difficult with so many unknown variables. She said this room would revert back to its normal state once we leave. It seems to be part of the inn she mentioned. In that case, it is either arranged for us already to get rooms here, or we'll have to use the money she gave us. I'm not sure what expects us once we leave, so let's go through some things first, starting with inventory. They quickly gathered everything they had on them. It was a relief to realize that their weapons were still with them. Reyna could still summon her dogs, and their stash of drachmas, nectar and ambrosia didn't look too bad. We need to be strategic with the use of these. She pointed at the nectar and ambrosia. I doubt we'll get any here, so only use it when absolutely necessary. I could get us more. We might be in London and bound by a quest, but I can still shadow travel. From London to Camp Half-Blood? Are you sure? You can't risk overdoing that. When I learned to shadow travel, I landed in China more than once. I think I can handle it. Besides, I don't think going to Camp Half-Blood is the best way, but I can get some nectar from the underworld if necessary. That's good, but still too risky to do often. Remember that Hecate also mentioned to keep our abilities and heritage secret. I assume the mist isn't as strong in the magical world. That's what we have these for, I guess. Frank held his wand awkwardly and twirled it, when suddenly a few sparks flew out of the top and he yelped and dropped it. Okay, so we gotta be careful with these. Great! More explosive things that aren't machines and no Festus or Calypso. I love it here. Leo's voice was dripping with sarcasm and Nico rolled his eyes. Hazel, you have some experience with magic? Not like this. I can manipulate the mist, but if there's little at the school, I'm not sure how useful that will be. I'm not sure if my mom would have been a witch by their definition if given the chance. Who knows how wizards handled people like me back then. Frank squeezed her hand reassuringly and she smiled up at him softly. I understand. So the best we can do is learning by doing. And pretending we know exactly what we are doing the whole time. Well, that basically sums up demigod life, so we should be good. Aren't you a bit too relaxed considering the circumstances, Seaweed Brain? Honestly, compared to the shit we've been through before, it sounds like a vacation. Will it likely turn out much worse? Of course, but why not relax until then? Annabeth rolled her eyes and found a look of sympathy on Reyna's face. Percy noticed too and nudged her aside slightly. I know this sucks, but it can't be worse than Tartarus, or being forced to forget each other. And we managed that, so we will manage this too. You are with me, wise girl. I have no reason to worry. Great for you! My girlfriend is somewhere miles away. I'm the only one without their partner here. Again! Reyna cleared her throat. Sorry, I mean me and Reyna, of course. She sighed. I suggest we find a way to disguise our weapons first. Then look at the other stuff Hecate left us with before we leave this room and arrange our stay in the inn. Then it's about gathering as much information as possible for the next week. Annabeth nodded seriously and they quickly got to work. Thank you so much for watching to the end. This was very experimental, but I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you don't want to miss out on the next part. For clarifications, this part includes information about the first 2 Percy Jackson series, but not Trials of Apollo. It obviously takes place during the 4th part of Harry Potter, and I'm really excited what you will say about the development. I'll make the second part as soon as we hit let's say 80 likes on this video. So like the video if you want me to do the second part, and now I hope you have a wonderful and amazing day. Here are my other social media, and as always a special thing goes out to my nerdy Nekomas. They get early access to stuff like this. And here are some more videos you can click on if you like my content, if you want to support me. And now I hope you have a wonderful and amazing day. Bye!
Grow hard about what you want to be. Step 4. Everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.